Good morning, September 21st. Welcome to the God Hour main course. And we're going to continue on with chapter 20. Yesterday I mentioned that it was captioned, the spoiler I gave is Laborers in the Vineyard, or the parable of the laborers in the vineyard. And the disclaimer about the cigarettes, I know it may be off-putting to a lot of people to see someone talking about the Bible while smoking a cigarette, but as I've said before, the idea is I'm no better than anybody. I sinned. This is not the worst of my sins. But I don't think that because I'm smoking a cigarette that I shouldn't therefore be reading from the Bible. I don't think there's any wrong time to read from the Bible. But anyway, laborers in the vineyard. For the kingdom of heaven, and these are the words of Christ speaking. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder. And I say it that way because I'm reading from the King James Version. As is my wont, unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour, and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. And again he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man hath hired us. And he saith unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the laborers, give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. Basically, Jesus didn't say basically, but basically the people that had only been there for an hour or so, the ones that had just arrived, worked a little bit, and they're getting paid first in front of the others that have been working all day. So verse 9, And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more. I mean, we can understand why. And they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good men of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day. But he answered one of them, and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny? Which they did. Take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil, because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. And Jesus, well, okay, let's analyze that just a little bit. I suppose any of us can understand the outrage or confusion of seeing somebody getting paid the same for something that we've done 12 times as much of. Not only 12 times as much, but our 12 times was done in the heat of the day, sweating and toiling all day, where they came in to work an hour and got the same pay. It would be very upsetting. On the other hand, my own boss, and I'm going to leave names and company names and stuff out, but she works on salary, or she could possibly, whatever, he or she, we'll go with that. He or she is salary, and I am not, so I get paid whatever hours I work. She gets paid the same no matter if she works sun up to sundown, and I've seen her do it, bless her heart. And she does it without complaint. Very admirable. But that's not the point that Jesus is making here. And you have probably, maybe you heard that verse quoted, verse 16. So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. Good, powerful stuff, that. Point is, every man agreed in this parable. So it's not literally a story about a bunch of laborers and their boss, but as is the nature of parables, it's kind of like a story-based metaphor. And what I'm taking from it is, don't base your goodness or evil or sinfulness on others. Don't expect that you'll get a better reward because you've done better than someone else or more than someone else. Excuse me, pain. But worry about yourself. Worry about your own salvation. Don't say, well, I'm not as bad as that guy, and he's a Christian, and I'm a Christian, so I got nothing to worry about. See, that's being judgmental. The only one you have to account to is God. In any case, we are all offered the same reward for our work. And there are going to be some of us that only work an hour. By work, I mean do God's work. I mean, there are plenty of people, there's even one in the Bible, and if you don't know the story, that was saved at the very last moments of his life. A thief was taken to heaven right with Jesus, alongside Jesus, literally at his hanging beside him. But I'm not going to presume that anybody viewing this knows this story, because God Hour is designed for those with little knowledge of the Bible and Christianity. In fact, it's really meant mostly for the agnostic and people that are curious about being a Christian, but may have some trepidation and anxiety over it, like social anxiety, like you don't feel comfortable going to church. Um, maybe maybe you're poor and on drugs, and I've been there. Um, or I wouldn't want to show my face at a church because I felt I'd be judged and so on and so on. And you shouldn't have to feel that way because those are the people that need church, but they're often ran off from it or discouraged from attending because of the people that are going to see them and say things to them, and you know, and there are a lot of churches that do make a lot of people feel unwelcome, like, you know, if so some churches everybody's in suit and tie, and if, like me, you show up in basically attire like this, a collared shirt. I mean, I'd shave and fix myself up a little bit, but uh, blue jeans are perfectly good church attire in my opinion. But that's me. Some churches would not really welcome me like that. They would say so, but I would also catch the rolling eyes or whatever of the congregation. Now, you're welcome. God welcomes you to come worship Him any and everywhere. So don't let a congregation discourage you. If you don't want to be in that congregation, find a different church. And now we even have online churches that give you the option to attend anonymously. But God knows. So that's a good thing. I mean, that's one way to use this technology and stuff to your advantage spiritually. Anyway, we were wrapping up Matthew 20, verse 17. And Jesus, going up to Jerusalem, took the 12 disciples apart in the way and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles to mock, and to scourge, and to crucify him. And the third day he shall rise again. And you get what he's saying here. Jesus is predicting. Predict was not actually the right word, but he's prophesying his own death. And not only death, but betrayal, mocking, scourging, which is generally whipping, and crucifixion, which is a popular form of execution back in that time. It was so popular because it not only killed the person, but it tortured them all the way unto their death. Horrible way to go. Sometimes it would take days for people to die hanging on that cross. No food or water, nothing but pain. And, of course, the crowd mocking and throwing things at you. You can imagine what this kind of stuff they'd be throwing as well. A generally unpleasant experience, I would imagine. But Jesus is also prophesying his rising again after 3 days, in which, as I mentioned in earlier God hours, 3 days was in the Jewish faith at the time, maybe still to this day. I don't really know how modern day Judaism works, but 3 days was the point of no return for death. Presumably they'd had cases where someone died, but they found out later that he was just sleeping for 24 or 48 hours. In any case, after 3 days, you're definitely dead. So that's why it's important that Jesus had to wait 3 days to rise again. And you also see that with the story of Lazarus that Jesus brought back famously. And then caption, mother of James and John. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her son, worshipping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She saith unto him, Grant that these my 2 sons may sit, the one on thy right hand, and the other on the left, in thy kingdom. But Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, We are able. And he saith unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of by my Father. I'd just like to acknowledge that how Jesus is following the commandments. He's honoring his Father. His Father happens to be God, the Almighty God, but even so, he's honoring him. Verse 24, And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the 2 brethren. But Jesus called them unto him and said, Ye know that the multiple prince, of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. And as they departed from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And a couple little points I'd like to make here. And you know, Jesus is talking with his inner circle, if you will. Whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. It's chief becoming servant. That's the humble. Let him be the most humble. Let him be the servant. Let the great be the minister, the one that's speaking. Anyway, our last little caption for this chapter, 2 blind men. I was also going to mention, actually, you'll note, if you've noticed in these last few chapters, a great multitude followed him is a phrase that appears many times. And as I've also said, like, Jesus was a rock star in his own right. I mean, people were following him everywhere, wanting to, you know, be so lucky as to just touch the clothing he was wearing, the hem of his garment. And that's a story for another day. The woman that touches the hem of his garment. But let's finish up this chapter with the two blind men. Verse 30. And behold, two blind men sitting by the wayside, when they heard that Jesus passed by, cried out, saying, Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou Son of David. And the multitude rebuked them, because they should hold their peace. But they cried the more, saying, Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou Son of David. And Jesus stood still and called them, and said, What will ye that I shall do unto you? They say unto him, Lord, that our eyes may be opened. So Jesus had compassion on them, and touched their eyes, and immediately their eyes received sight, and they followed him. And now, this whole section is not nothing new. Jesus has restored sight to blind men previously in Matthew, as well as other healings and other miracles in general. Remember, we had the fishes and loaves, and we had the storm that he calmed. We even had the walking on water. So I don't really understand why this particular healing of two blind men, while undoubtedly a miracle, or, you know, it just seems to be a minor miracle in the sense of, you know, we know he can restore blind men to see. But I guess the point is, the multitude were rebuking them, telling them, shut up, shut up, shut up. You know, you don't deserve it. I mean, he's Jesus. But Jesus heard among this crowd these two blind men and addressed them personally. And can you imagine, like, if you were at a rock concert and everybody's shouting, play Freebird, and two people in the back row are going, I hope they play Working for the MCA. And the band, Skinner goes, what'd you say? You way back there, Working for the MCA? You got it. It's kind of what I pulled out of it. That, I don't know. Make your own interpretation. Comment, please. And wherever I'm wrong, I mean, I'm just a guy reading the Bible and talking it out, which gives me understanding, a little bit better understanding sometimes, talking it out. But I welcome your comments, whether negative or positive, dissenting or agreeing, anything that will start a dialogue. That's ultimately what God Hour is planned to be, and it looks like we're pretty close to it. Only need a few more subscribers and we can start doing this as an interactive chat here on YouTube. Anyway, that concludes Matthew chapter 20 and the main course of God Hour for the day. Actually got time to do another chapter. It's not been quite an hour, I don't think, but we'll hold off. I might post one later this morning, but still have to do our God Hour short, our verse of the day and our quote of the day. So let me go ahead and put that up too. So God bless you all. Have a great day, and I'll be seeing you soon.